So you've had a coach in sports, right? You have a sports coach, right? But what coaching is about? Coaching is about helping you close the gap from A to B, right? Like in your business and in your life, you are at certain places and you want to change them, right? I'm trying to grow sales or make this, right? So you're always working from where you are to another point, okay? If we use Tony Robbins' language, which is how I'm trained, is that, 80% of success is mindset and 20% of success is strategy. So the key to getting from A to B faster and getting to a higher level result, either with more positive emotion or more financial results or a better quality result, the key of performing at a higher level is operating from moving into a higher level mindset, and therefore you can generate a higher level mindset strategy, right? Because, for example, Wade, with your business sales, you are version, let's just say 5, right? And let's say your version 5 mindset is generating a version 5 strategy. And that's generating the results you have right now in the sales in your business at that level. If you wanted to double or triple your sales, for example, instead of going to version 5 mindset, you may have to go to version 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and a version 10 mindset will generate a version 10 strategy, right? But you can't run a version 10 strategy on a version 5 mindset. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. It definitely does.
So it's almost like this catch-22, because as human beings, we are to-do list machines, right? Our brain wants something, we go, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So we spend the majority of our time focused on how to do it, right? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? It's human nature, right? Because we know at the end of the day, it's a strategy that will get us the result. But what we don't see is that we end up spending most of our time in a mindset, or what it really means, we spend up most of our time in an identity that doesn't know how to achieve that result, right? Because you've had a time in your business. If you've been in business for 8 years, there were times when you had no idea how the hell you were going to solve this problem. And then maybe one day you woke up and it was like God spoke to you and you knew how, right? You've had that experience before in life or business, right? What actually happened before you had that breakthrough is you had a shift in mindset. And you could therefore see a new perspective you couldn't see before. So this actually isn't a coaching part. This is just an explanation to kind of prepare for coaching. But so mindset, what your mindset is your experience, your past references, your beliefs about life, about you, about business, and really your expectations of how things should be. That makes up, Tony Robbins calls that your blueprint or your mindset. And it's basically the filter that Wade walks around the planet viewing the world at, right? We all have our own personal filter. And for example, let's say you ran a business and you made $10 a year, and there was a business opportunity to make $50, you wouldn't even see it because you're only looking for $10 opportunities, right? Whereas if you had a $500 a year mindset, you would see 10, 50, 20, 30 opportunities. So it really dictates your subconscious mind and what you can actually see and what actions you'll take. So what coaching in essence is, it's help bringing out the best of who you are in all of your areas, emotionally, physically, financially, business results, relationships, whatever you want it to be. It evolves you to a higher level, right? So therefore, you can generate higher level strategies. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Now, I'm sure you probably have mentors of some sort, right? Maybe business, maybe otherwise, right? And successful people, like the top % of successful people, have mentors and coaches, okay? Because a mentor is an expert in a strategy because they have typically achieved a result that you want to achieve, right? So you talk to a mentor, oh, how did you get that big result? Oh, here's how I did it. They tell you, right? And what's actually happening, they've got their version 50 mindset kicking out a version 50 strategy, and you're at version 5. You can't run a version 50 strategy, so it doesn't work. Right? So it's almost like mentors helps you see what is really possible, and you talk to them once a month, once a quarter, and coaches help you consistently execute to run higher level strategies, evolve who you are. And you talk to a coach anywhere from 1, 2, 3, or 4 times a month. So it's really bringing out the best, making sure you don't get comfortable, and constantly holding you to a higher standard. That's what coaching really does, at least life coaching and business coaching in my style.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, given my experience in business, I do mix into mentoring, and I do mix into almost strategy and training, because I've run a lot of businesses and I've been in business a long time. Okay. So what we'll do now is let's actually start the coaching, right? So the coaching is really the way we do a coaching call is we like, the goal of a coaching call is like to close the gap from A to B on something, right? Maybe it's like, I want to grow my revenue, or on this call, Jason, I want to figure out what strategies to grow my income, or leverage other people in my business, or have more free time. Like, it's so that we have a specific target. So with all the topics that I mentioned on Facebook and you saw, what topic is coming to mind right now as far as to work on?
I mean, it's definitely revenue growth is definitely where my head's at, what I'm focused on, and that's where it would be where I need the most help.
Okay. And do I have permission to coach you today?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So give me an example of like where your revenue was last year and where you would like it to be this year.
Right. So I actually have all of that. I have a pretty good record of all of these things. So, and
it doesn't have to be exact. Like you can give me a general number, or you can give me a growth percentage. I'm just trying to get a base.
No, I'm laughing because it's so low, and unfortunately, but it's growing. The growth percentage is good, but the actual number is not so good. But so right now, as of today, so for last year, it was 35,000.
Okay.
And that's up about almost 30% from the previous year.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah.
So but that's nowhere. That's not even close to where I want it to be.
Okay. What's the most revenue you've ever done?
Well, in this business? In this business?
In the business you're trying to grow.
Yeah. So I basically went all in on this business, around 2015, and a lot of it was making the website and then the infrastructure. Yeah. So it was really only around 2016 where I started, really even tracking revenue. And so this last year, so it went in over the in 2016, I was around 20,000 or 18,000. So,
okay.
So now is the highest, and it's continually growing. But but 35,000 a year is nothing. So, I'm happy with the growth, but I'm not happy with. But now is the highest. Yeah.
Okay. So. I heard you with a softener there, right?
Okay.
You said 30. You said 35,000 is where I'm at, and then you laughed.
Yeah, because I'm embarrassed by how. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm happy with what I'm achieving, and building a business is tough and all of that. So I cut myself some slack, but I kind of laughed also because I think it's laughable also at the same time because it's so low. I want it to be so much higher. So.
Okay. And I understand everything you said. I'm just calling you a little bit on that, right?
Okay.
Because permission to coach, I'm assuming, do I have permission to challenge you a bit today?
You have permission. I have so much faith in you. You have permission. Whatever you say, you have 100% permission. So.
I appreciate that. So here's the thing: is that you may be laughing because you're embarrassed. You may be laughing because it's painful to hear that and you want to neutralize the pain.
Yeah, right.
And pain is one of our pain, or more specifically, discomfort is ammunition for change. And when you say whenever we laugh at ourselves, we could be doubting ourselves or making fun of ourselves or resisting ourselves, or we could be stealing our energy to make it different, right? Because sometimes pressure is good, right? If you're in too much pressure, if I have a client in too much pressure, I'll pull them out of it, right? Because self-abuse doesn't work, right? If self-abuse is a misalignment, right? Because the one way I like to think about, and I like to call that out because I want to let's get past the filters. And the laughter was also a softener. Part of it was, yeah, I'm embarrassed, but part of it was really, it's painful, and you wanted to neutralize that pain, so you laughed at it, right? That's a softener. So try to remove softeners as you can, because it's going to help you get more powerfully to the point. Because here's the thing is that I'm going to go really analytical on you because I know you're a theoretical mind like me. So here's the thing is that I talked briefly about mindset, right? And I talked about Tony Robbins' blueprint or model of the world, right? The filter we view the world through, right? So we're walking around with these filters, right? And then we have our life situation, our life conditions, right? Now, if our life situation matches our filter, we will feel positive emotion. If your life does not match your filter, you will feel a negative emotion. Depending on the degree of misalignment, the greater the amplification of that emotion. Like if you expect to make 50 grand and you make 55, you'll have a smile. But if you make 500, you'll have a big smile in 5. If you make 5 million, you'll be jumping through the roof. Contrary, the other way, you could be sad or frustrated, or you could be extremely depressed. Right. So it's really about, the way to solve that, and keep in mind, there's some areas in your life that are on the positive side, some are on the negative side, and some are on the neutral side. And it's different for each aspect: family, relationships, money, physical body, all this stuff, right? But here's the thing: is so I want to invite you to think of the emotion you feel as the indicator of alignment, not the problem. And do you have a pen and paper?
I have yes, I can.
Okay.
I have my computer. I usually do things on the computer, but I also have a pen and paper here.
Use pen and paper. Write down, because if you write down the stuff that sounds like you should write down, it'll go further into your brain, even if you never read it. Okay. So take notes. Okay. So the emotions you feel is the indicator of misalignment. A lot of people get stuck up thinking the emotion is the problem. I'm scared. I feel anxiety. I'm depressed. I don't have confidence. That's not the emotion is the indicator. It's like the turn signal on your car. So for this situation here, there's a misalignment, but your lighthearted perception of it makes you okay with it and makes you not go crazy because there's a misalignment. So that's how you justify the misalignment subconsciously. But that's also the exact reason you're still in this spot. Because you're operating with a 35K business mindset. And there should be a zero behind that.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just going to put words in your mouth. I know there's frustration, worry, whatever behind. There's a little resentment or whatever that is. There's some negative emotion there. And that may or may not be stopping you, but it's not helping you. Because it may force you into a lower mindset, right? Because if you go into a resistance-based mindset, your level of mindset is dropping, and now the strategies you can run will start to get weaker and less powerful. So the key is alignment and then action. But you, me, and every other male we know, we're taught to grind it, right? Just fucking deal with it. That hurts your feelings? Who cares? Just grow. Just do it. Right? My dad was a master of that, unknowingly, because I'm a massive feeler and he's not. I love him to death. He just doesn't know that. So the first thing is to change it, because I could give you a couple strategies right now. I could say we can dive into your sales process, and we can dig into your sales funnel, and we can dig into the actions you're taking. But the first step to making the revenue change is moving your mindset to a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
The great news is that your business grew 30% last year over the previous year. That is awesome growth. That is positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So it's really, where are we going to aim at this year? Like, what prior to this call,
right.
prior to us getting on the phone and talking a week ago, what was your revenue target for the business for 2019?
Well, and you're spot on with so many things that you're saying, because I have some mentors that I talk to, and there's a mentor, score.org, which you can meet business mentors. And, I talked to one guy, and he wanted to pin me down as far as what my goal is for 2019. And I've talked with friends. I'm more comfortable now about saying things about, what my target is, because I have more visibility into the business and what I should expect and all of that. I previously, when I started, I really didn't have much faith in any kind of predictions. But so there's two numbers. What would I want it to be, or what would I think is a reasonable guess of what it will be? I mean, which is the one?
Well, I was curious which one you were pointing the business at.
I feel that I'm more of the maybe I don't know, realist or whatever. I'm pointed it at. I would say if I have a year, so at the end of 2019, I have another 30% growth. So that would be, 36,000, or 35,000, I guess, which would be another.
42?
So 42, 43, something like that.
30% on top of that, that's 9, about 45 or something like that, 44. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. I feel like that would be, I think that I feel like it would be unreasonable, but he had me pin down what I wanted, and I said, I want to have it be 100,000, by the, yeah, sure, and then I pinned that down even a little bit further. Is what I would like to do is have, because that would be 8,000 a month average. And what would be wonderful is if I had 1 month in 2019 where I hit the 8,000, just 1 month. But I don't even know how I'm going to even achieve that. And that may be a function of, my mindset, that I need to upgrade my mindset. But if I were to just kind of throw all that away for a second and just like, what is it that I would guess? I would say, 45,000, around a 30% growth again this year would be something where I feel that would be okay. And if it was less than that, I would be unhappy. And if it was more than that, I'll still be unhappy, because I'm going to be unhappy until I'm making over 100,000. So I would love it if I got to 100,000, but I don't know how realistic that is. Maybe more realistic would be something.
Okay, so why did you laugh after you said that last statement?
It's something I'm not even sure I'm aware of. So I'm trying to remember exactly what I was laughing at, but. You said I would really want to make 100,000. You said I'd be, if it's under 44, I'll be sad. If it's over 44, I'll be happy. But I really want to make is 100. If I get over 100, it would be great. I know it's possible. And then you laughed. I laugh because I just don't see. To put it in a way that I think you're kind of, I don't have the mindset where I can even see how that could be a possibility. Like, I don't have an idea about how I would get there. I don't have any, conception at all about how I would hit. That's something that I need to get to a place where that
so let me
see that, but I don't even see it.
Let me stop you here. Well, you absolutely cannot see it right now.
Yeah.
The
Right.
person, the version of you that's calling me right now has no idea how to do that.
No, right. I mean, I have vague ideas, but nothing really.
Well, you have, yeah, because you've never done it before. You have vague ideas, you have gut instincts, you have ideas, but but the simple reality, like if you looked at this business from the outside, you did 35 grand last year. If you hit that, multiply that times 3, then you hit 100 grand.
Right.
How much more complicated is it that? So what I wanted to point out, isn't it interesting how much emotion you have emotion coming up about this? Because I could give you this business in somebody else's names. You could look at it and say, oh, just get 3 times as many clients.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Right? Right?
For sure. I don't know how I'm going to get there in the 1 year, though.
Well, okay. Okay.
But that would be great. That's what I would love to upgrade my mindset and in the year, like I said, I would even take a step back from that. And if I had 1 month where I hit 8,000, which annualized would be 100,000 almost, I think that would be a great success, that basically, if I can hit 8,000 1 month, I should be able to hit it all, so
Wait,
that's where I kind of hit it.
How long have you been settling for?
I don't think that's me. I don't know. I mean, I'm always going for it. I don't think that doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like me.
Okay, that's fair.
I think if anything, I've always been going for it, and I think and I've had some failures, and then I think, well, I got to, maybe I don't want to be pessimistic about it. I don't want to be overly I want to be a realist about it. I want the best results, and I don't really feel that I don't consider myself that one that settles.
Okay, well, that's a fair answer. That's a fair answer, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes on a coaching call, I have an instinct to say something. I don't know why. So I follow my impulses when I'm coaching. So, okay. So, because here's the other thing is that, and I've seen this lots of times because I've coached like hundreds and hundreds of people over the past like 6 years, right? And the thing is, there's often a perception in businesses, new business owners or small business owners or people who are doing business that aren't salespeople. I've often seen a common assumption that a lower target is easier than a higher target.
Oh, that's not true?
It's not true. No, it's not true at all. Because the difference between aiming at a $35,000 target is pointing this ship you're steering in one direction. Aiming it at 100,000 is you're pointing the ship at a different direction. And all you're doing is you're pointing at a different target and coming up with different strategies. So it's actually the exact same amount of work, and it's often more work because people who undercharge for their services are not attracting ideal clients and spend all their time managing non-ideal clients and aren't making enough money for their time. Now, I don't know anything about your services at this point. That's a generalization based on a lot of the people I've worked with. Because the thing is, the universe or life or God, whatever you want to call it, will not reward mediocrity. So if your truest heartfelt potential is 44,000, that's what the universe is going to support you in. If your truest heartfelt goal is actually 100,000, that's what you want, that's what your gut's saying, that's what you wake up wanting, the universe is going to make it hard to get 44 and probably make it easier to get 100.
Okay.
You've got to aim at a more powerful target, because even if you aim at 100 grand and you miss it by 50%, you're still higher than the other target.
Right.
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 And there,
right.
and there's also, and because the other thing right here is when you're aiming that low, you're not thinking of higher level strategies, right? There's a guy named Jay Abraham who's kind of like the Tony Robbins of marketing. He's a marketing genius, brilliant, right? And one of his favorite things is like, he's called it the power of geometric thinking, right? Because let's say you've been running this business, and let's just say, for example, you've been running this business for 10 years, and you do 35 grand every year, and you run a certain set of strategies, and you do this type of marketing, and you work this hard, and you get these type of clients. But then you decided, I'm going to do a plan next year to do $350,000. I'm going to do an exercise to how do I do $350,000 next year. Like, let's say you took a 2 to 3 hour planning exercise of how to do $350,000 in 2019. By putting your sights on a higher level target, you have no choice but to throw out all of the old ways how you did business.
Yeah, right.
And it's in those new ideas you often get breakthroughs. Because the other thing that we can't do on a 30-minute, 40-minute call, but then you dive into who are your ideal clients, what's your price point and stuff like that. You know, and if you're selling onesie twosies, that's fine. But then, you know, you could find someone else who could refer them to you or do that as well. There's lots of ways to find more clients. And right now, I'm not sure if I don't know if it's the target. I don't know if it's your product. I don't know if it's your target audience. I don't know if it's your sales process. So there's a lot of different things on why the sales couldn't be at that level. But the first thing that needs to happen is you have to aim at a target that you are emotionally and in your gut is saying, screaming, go for that.
Okay.
Because you are correct. You don't know how. You have to figure it out. This business has never existed before. But you're there. You're obviously serving people in a positive capacity because they're giving you money and you're growing. So you are making a positive impact on this universe. Let's crank that up.
Makes sense. This is so it's I can see why this would be an emotional thing for many people. This kind of coaching things, it brings up all of these things, right? So
well, and what you don't know is how intuitive I am.
I believe it. I totally believe that.
But like I can feel your emotions multiple layers deep around these things, and that's why I was meant to be a coach, right? So
yeah, no doubt.
That there's because here's like, you're not a guy who's afraid of things. You don't settle. You don't. You go for it. You absolutely do go for it.
Yeah, I do.
Right? From hitting rocks in the neighbor's yard to, I forget what other shit we did that was really stupid that I got you to do.
Yeah, you were the snowball maker and I was the snowball thrower, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's not it. Like there's you know, and again, this is probably more time than we need on this call, but it's like more time than we have on this call, but like I'm not feeling like an aliveness and passion and go get it. Like, because if I describe you, that's how I describe you. Like you're alive and you're engaging and you're fun and you're bold, but I'm not seeing that in regards to business.
Mm-hmm. I can feel that. That rings true with me. I think that my way of reconciling, I guess, that in my head is that I think that you're right, Jason. Though, but I think I have this idea that 30% growth. That's of course not bad. But then I have this mindset about this incremental growth, it sort of leads to like incremental thinking, you know. And if I bump it up and try to aim for these bigger numbers, I'm going to start having bigger ideas, you know. So,
is that good or bad?
That's wonderful. I think that that's exactly what's needed. I think that that's where that's the direction I need to go to get to myself to that kind of place with my mindset. And I certainly think I'm capable of that, but I think part of me was like thinking, you know, this kind of slow growth is actually not really a bad thing or something. I don't know. Somehow justifying like this kind of thinking.
It's not a conscious thought, right? It's not a conscious thought. Like, it's our brain kicks off reasons or excuses or beliefs on why we don't have what we think we should have. And basically it's your brain, because your mind is going, well, why don't I should be at this level. And your brain, to keep you from going crazy, says, well, you don't have it because of this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, okay. And then we unknowingly spend our time living in this justification of a previous reality.
Yeah.
And it's literally the framework we operate from. You wake up in the morning and you're like, you feel those other things. And there's been times in your life when you committed and tried and went to push through it and it failed, and it may have been painful and caused this car crash or whatever, so that every time that we go to like move out of the comfort zone, all the old car crashes come up and you get raw and feeling too. So like me, I've been cleaning up my shit for like the past 10 years at a really high level. Because I went into coaching, I was a freaking train wreck, but it was like peeled off one layer, peeled off one layer, peeled off another, peeled up. But as more and more came into alignment, and really it was more and more self-acceptance and self-love at the core of it, the more and more that happened, the more I started to come out for who I really am, right? Mm-hmm. In all areas of my life. So let me share with you a decision-making model, because acknowledgement to a higher level target that's the first step, or a higher level mindset. That's the first step. So I encourage you to write down my 2019 outcome revenue is $100,000.
Okay.
So
I did that.
Read me what you wrote, please.
My 2019 outcome revenue was $100,000.
Okay. Now write it again, but say, I am going to generate $100,000 in revenue this year.
Okay.
Okay. Read that out loud.
I am going to generate $100,000 in revenue this year.
How does that feel in your body when you say that?
I agree. It's good. It's I something you said earlier. Trigger's probably not the right word, but triggered something in me about this identity. I am going to. It's part of my identity that I am a person that makes that will make 100,000 in the year.
Do me a favor. Say that again without laughing.
I agree with you, and I know you diagnosed something there. It's 100% true. The laughter is a bit of a combination, a complex of a few things, and probably there's some doubt and some a bunch of other stuff. But I am going to generate 100,000 in revenue this year.
Period. There we go. Yeah. Now, you may feel a little unease in your body somewhere, even though I believe you 100% with certainty that you're going to make it happen. If you're feeling anything in your body that's not congruent, that's just that old energy processing. So just sit with it until it goes away. If it's there, I don't know if it is, but if it is, sit with it till it goes away. Okay. Now here's a decision-making model. Okay. Let me give you these two decision-making models. Okay. This is, so the first one is, it goes, 3 steps. Okay. The first one is decide, plan, commit.
Okay.
And the second one is decide, commit, figure out how.
Okay.
Okay. So your brain works in both of these ways. Okay. The first one says, I'm going to pick a target. I'm going to see if I can create a plan to hit it. And if I can create a plan to hit it, then I'm going to commit to making it happen.
Yeah.
Commit meaning it is going to happen no matter what, like that type of commitment, right? The second one, that's what that means. If I say commit, it's done. I will, it's either going to happen or my body will drop dead from exhaustion. Like that's commit, right? So, the other one is decide on the target, commit to making it happen, and then figuring out how.
Right.
What's the difference between those two?
Well, I think I'm an intuitive guy as well, and plus I'm analytical, so I can I think the second one is better actually. But the difference is that the ordering of planning preceding the commitment, or the commitment preceding, essentially.
Exactly.
Planning.
That's exactly it. And we're human beings.
And if
yeah, keep going.
Oh, I'm totally on the same page with you, and I agree. I think the second one's better because if you commit to it first, you're going to end up with a better plan. I mean, that's the way I think this is going. Anyway, that's what I think is the right one. Is the second one is better. If I'm wrong about that one, and my intuition is wrong, but
no, you're right. So here's the thing: is that as human beings, we all do both. Okay, we all do both, and our human nature is to avoid pain. Right? So by nature, subconsciously, you are looking at things and figuring out if you can do them. That's running. And being analytical, it's almost a handicap because you can just get into so much levels of analysis, right? Hey, here, I want this. Do I know how to do it? No, it's not going to work. I got do it again. Okay, can I figure it out this way? No, I can't. And my hallucination, right or wrong, is that's why you've been stuck at this revenue, is because you've been trying to think your way to the plan.
Yeah.
And here's the little breakthrough thought here is when you use the first model, you limit yourself to what you already know.
Okay.
When you use the second model, and I can guarantee there's times in your life when you said, I'm going to make that happen. It's this thing I want. It's going to happen. I have no idea how the fuck I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. You have absolutely done that in your life sometimes. Lots of times.
Right. Yes.
You need to use that decision-making power now to say, I'm going to generate $100,000 this year. Do I know how? I have no fucking clue, but it's not going to stop me. I'm going to figure it out. So then you start searching for new ways, and that's going to help you evolve into a higher level mindset, because that's already a different mindset saying it's possible because I'm going to commit to it.
Yes, I see.
So let's do this. I'm going to wrap up the coaching call in a couple minutes, and then you and I could chat a little bit more. Okay. So,
sure.
So here, would you like an action item to help you solidify this and move forward?
Sure.
Okay. So what I would suggest you do is after this call, sit down there and write down, I decide to generate $100,000 in revenue this year, period. Okay. Write it out.
Right.
I commit, and make a commitment. I commit to myself or anyone else who you wouldn't want to let down. Who in your life do you not want to let down? Who in your life do you not want to make a promise to? Maybe yourself or someone else. And on that paper, I'd write down, I am committing 100% to hitting this target this year.
Okay.
You want more leverage? You can go talk to that person and say, I'm going to hit $100,000 this year, and if I don't, I'm going to have this penalty. If you search Jason Dries and dog food on YouTube, you will see one of my previous past challenges.
And you ate the dog food?
I ate the dog food. Yeah, it was disgusting. I was actually one of the few people that.
But in another way, it was the most delicious meal you ever ate, right? Because it motivated you to never have that happen again.
Actually, no, there were chunks of bone in it. It was just got generic.
Oh, God.
But my target was when I was starting my coaching business. Another coach challenged me to make $1,000 a week, and I had no idea how. And I made the commitment and I made the commitment to all my peers on my Robbins coaching team. And all 100 people said, I'm going to do this, and if I don't, I'm going to eat dog food. Well, I actually generated $2,500 in sales that week, but the people who agreed were going to pay me on Monday, not by Friday at midnight. So technically, I failed the challenge, and I wasn't going to I wasn't going to screw up. I wasn't going to screw up the income I was getting next week because I needed the money. So I technically failed the challenge. So I went into the challenge and I did the challenge and I recorded it and it's on YouTube. And the reason why it was so transformational for me is because I didn't take it as a punishment. I basically said, I'm going to eat this dog food because I decided to do it. And it's disgusting, but I'm going to do it because I said so. And it was one of the most transformative things I've ever done in my entire life.
I see. Nice.
So that's the power of commitment. Like it's going to happen. It's going to happen because the problem is we get in these patterns of wanting stuff and not following through. And then we just get stuck in that pattern. But where the rubber meets the road is you're like, it's going to happen because I said so, period.
Right.
So start there. So maybe it's a commitment to yourself. And then what I would also say is every morning when you wake up, I would say stand up and scream at the top of your lungs 10 times, I'm going to generate 100K in revenue this year. I'm going to generate 100K in revenue this year. 10 times in a row, loud with your whole body for a week and see how you feel.
Okay.
Like let's
My neighbors will wonder what the hell's wrong with me, but that's okay.
Well, here's the thing. If you want outrageous results, you have to do what most people won't do.
Right.
So any questions on that assignment?
So let me see if I have it straight. So I'm gonna basically I write it down. I sit myself down and I write down what my commitment is for the year. And who I'm committing to, and it is to myself, actually. There's a long story there. And then from there, every morning, yell it first thing in the morning 10 times. I am going to generate 100,000 in revenue in 2019.
Yeah.
Commit to it. First, deeply in my soul, my heart, my body, and then have that really, like, sincerely commit to it as part of my identity. And then eventually I'll start thinking I'll come up with ideas of how to achieve it. That'll happen as a consequence.
Absolutely. And that letter you write, like, put it on the fridge or the bathroom mirror, or make a copy of it.
Well, it's going to be on my door that where I walk out of every day. That's perfect. I have something already on the door, but I'm going to replace it with this. Okay. My other one, you know what? My other one is a negative. This one's a positive. My other one was a negative. It has a number that for my certain savings account, don't go below this number. But that's a negative. That's not so I'm going to replace that with this, which of a positive of this is what I'm gunning for. Not what I'm trying to avoid, but what I'm trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Excellent. And how does that feel as far as action and alignment?
Good. Good. I'm processing it right now, and so it is the right way to go. It is the right way to go. So
excellent.
I'm going to do it.
Excellent.
And I will report to you over Messenger, and I'll tell you about it, how I'm doing.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So we'll end that coaching call there. So was that helpful? Was that of value? Is that of value?
Definitely. I had no idea what coaching would be, and I can see it now. And I can see why, I can see how it could, this is my first time doing it, but I can already see how it could be the kind of thing where, coaching is the right word, actually. You're like a coach. So it's exactly the right word. I had no idea what it was, and then now that it makes sense why it's called coaching. So